In the great state of Utah, our old friend, Senator Orrin Hatch. Good morning, Senator Hatch.
How are you?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. It's kind of a aftermath of this weekend. It's going to be interesting to see what finally happens on health care.
What did you do this weekend? I mean, do you have the weekends off or no?
Oh, no. Usually I'm traveling back to Utah or going somewhere else in the country, raising money for my colleagues. There's all kinds of things I do.
Do you have any days off?
Well, I usually try to go to church on Sunday.
Right.
And I pretty much make that a rule.
We'll be overlooking the baby Jesus now.
Yeah, that's right.
You're a Mormon, right?
That's right.
You guys believe in a baby Jesus or some other guy?
We certainly we're Jesus Christ oriented, no question about it. We believe He's our personal Savior.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. I hope you do.
So you don't get any time off?
Not really. I mean, when you're look, Lugar and I are the number one Republicans in the Senate. We're the most senior Republicans, so we both came at the same time. So we're really called upon to do an awful lot for our party. I'm called upon to raise a lot of money for the party.
So this health care bill that you mentioned, that the House passed, it gets over there with you guys, but nothing really happens with that particular bill, right? Or wrong?
Well, I think they're going to have a heck of a time passing that kind of a bill in the Senate. You know, one big joke in Washington is if the government ends up running health care, it would be just like the U.S. Postal Service. There'll be long waiting periods, care would be expensive, and no babies would be delivered without adequate postage. You know, so it's just about the way it's going to be. That exercise in the House, that'll never pass in the Senate.
Okay, so you guys have two bills there of your own that you're considering, right? Or
we have a number of bills. We have six Republican bills. The problem is we only have 40 Republicans, so there's no chance of getting any of them. And to bring one up too soon means that you just lose whatever possible swatch you can get. But we have two bills in the Senate, actually three. We had the Help Committee bill, which is a totally partisan bill. Then we had the Finance Committee bill, which was passed basically on a partisan vote with only Olympia Snow of Maine helping. And then we have the modified bill that Senator Reid has been working on that nobody knows what's in it because he's trying to get a score on it from the Congressional Budget Office. And
what does that mean?
Well, in other words, we have a Congressional Budget Office here that will do a score on how much it's going to cost, what really are the financial difficulties here. And I have to say that it's going to be interesting to see what Reid and Baucus and the rest of them have come up with. It's been very few Democrats working on it.
Is there any possibility that any bill that Baucus and Reid can come up with could pass the Senate?
Well, there's a possibility. I do think they're going to have a rough time because they were insisting on having this government plan in the bill. And, of course, anybody who thinks that the government can do health care better than the private sector, it just really hasn't lived in the real world.
No.
The fact of the matter is, if you just want to look at something, look at H1N1, how difficult it's been. The federal government has loused that up so bad that it hasn't worked hardly at all in this country. And the last thing we need is to have everything centered right here in Washington.
So then we're talking with Senator Orrin Hatch from Utah here in the Imus Morning Program. It's 18 minutes to the hour on the radio all over the country and on the Fox Business Network. Well, so let's just say, for sake of this discussion, you get a bill you can pass in the Senate that you agree with anybody else, obviously. And then it goes to committee where you all try to reconcile the House bill and that bill. Do you think that's possible?
Well, that's what the Democrats, I think, will do in the end. I think what they'll do is they've got this House bill passed now. I think they're going to try and get whatever they can through the Senate, then go to what they call conference between the House and the Senate. And then I believe they'll use the reconciliation rules to try and put it through here. However, that's not as easily done as you think. We can make a lot of Swiss cheese out of anything that comes over here because the reconciliation has never been used for a substantive bill of this size. Keep in mind, the Pelosi bill is 1,902 pages. Just to put that in perspective, the Hillary Care bill back in the early 90s was 1,300 pages. So you can imagine what a big mess this is going to be when they finally get it to the Senate, where we really have full and open debate.
Now, once we get a bill, let's just say we get a bill. It's been through the conference committee, and it comes. Will you read the bill before you vote on it? All of it?
I'll know what's in it. I'll read an awful lot of it, and if not all of it, I'll know what's in it. My staff is going to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. We know a lot of what they're doing right now. It's just that we don't know the final bill because they've kept that under close wraps.
Well,
go ahead.
Will you read an awful lot of it or all of it?
Well, both. I mean, sometimes I'll read a lot of it and rely on staff for the rest. Other times I'll read the whole bill, and in this case, I'd like to read the whole bill because it's so important. It's 1/6 of the American economy.
So here's my. I don't mean to belabor this idiotic point of mine, but if you or nobody else is going to read all of it, and I mean all of it, then how do we know what's in it?
Well, don't worry. We'll know what's in it, but I'm going to read it. So it's just the way it is. I think almost everyone here is asking the same question. What is it that the government does so well that makes people think it would be able to provide decent health care? Now, I'm not an ear doctor, but I think the president must be tone deaf if he thinks that the American people are anxious to put government bureaucrats between them and their doctors.
That's a good one. I like to hear jokes.
Well, I might admit that I'm not a psychiatrist either. I think he's crazy if he thinks that the majority of American people want the government to start paying for those that already have health insurance.
You've been working on your material last night. I like this.
I know I'm on the Imus show,
That's a good one. It's a quarter till the hour here in the Imus Morning Program. A couple of final questions. Joe Lieberman says the Fort Hood killings sound to him like an act of Islamic terrorism. Is he right?
Wait, say that again?
Joe Lieberman says the Fort Hood killings sound to him like an act of Islamic terrorism. Is he right?
Well, if you take the individual, I mean, from what little we know about it, it all seems to be that he was getting very, very partisan towards the terrorist approach. Now, we don't actually know that. Those are the rumors that are coming out of this matter, but. And he's probably just a single individual. I don't think all Islamic people in this country should be tarred by the fact that one guy goes off the rails. And I think we ought to be fair. There are many wonderful Islamic people in this country. One of the best is my old friend Muhammad Ali. He's a great person, and you can't put everybody in that category just because one guy goes nuts.
I'm happy to hear you say that.
Well, that's true.
There was my wife pointed out to me there was a guy quoted in the New York Times saying that when somebody goes in and shoots up a post office, if he's a Christian, they describe it simply as going postal. If a Muslim or somebody believing in Islam commits an act like this, and there may be some reason for this, and there's some justification that a case can be made on either side, it is described as an act of Islamic terror, but I think your perspective is probably the fairer one.
Well, we Mormons are used to that. If a Mormon makes a mistake, you can always count on his religion being mentioned. Hardly any other.
Yeah, but it is your fault when it's a Mormon does it. So.
well, of course. Of course.
Well, what's the matter with you?
We've been beaten up in this country ever since the church was established. No question about it. That's why we're such a tough group of people, and why we stand up for this country like nobody else. I can tell you that right now.
Always a pleasure to have you on the program, and the material was great, Senator. I appreciate that.
Well, you're great. That's all I can say. But back that health care bill. Their reform proposal won't improve health care. In fact, I think I have evidence that it's making its worth. In fact, it's making me sick to my stomach, and I think you'll get sick to your stomach, too.
Thanks, Senator.
Take care.
Senator Orrin Hatch here on the Imus Morning Program.